I learned something very recently. I've been reading this book called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. And one of the chapters is called, I believe, Self Discipline and Fear. It's actually been one of the most biggest lessons I've learned so far this year because the fact of the matter is, fear is not real. And I think we all know this. It's an emotion, right? Being afraid of someone or something as likely to be dangerous, painful, or threatening. Some other people say it is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. And I think key words like likely and belief, these things are in the mind. Some things we need to fear, right? We shouldn't be jumping off a building, right? That's not normal. But there's a lot of fears that we have that are only in our minds and that prevent us from doing something great, doing something that might change our lives forever, in a good way, of course. In the book, the biggest question I got from that chapter was that if there wasn't any fear of the fear that you are facing, would you approach whatever situation? So for example, for me, my top two fears, I don't really have like any crazy fears, but I think any guy, right, when it comes to women, is a fear of rejection at times, right? Depending on how the girl looks, depending on the setting, whatever, right? And so my thing is more about fear of rejection or confrontation. Even though I take martial arts training like kickboxing and jujitsu and all that, I still don't like to confront. And I think that's out of kindness, right? Because I'm not someone to try to pick a fight. I'm not someone to think that even though I know certain things that I'm willing to just go toe to toe with anybody. No, I only want to be in a position where I protect myself or protect the ones that I love, right? Confrontation is one thing. I dealt with that in more, more internally with people that I was in a relationship with. So friends, a girlfriend, like more of those situations because I'm actually, for me, I think the fear of confrontation is more for the sake of the relationship, right? Like, I don't really like to argue with the people that I love, right? I don't like to argue with the people that I'm trying to build something with. And it causes a lot of friction. And for me, it makes it just like it kills the day. It kills the mood. And maybe because I know that it might just kill the entire mood for me. And personally, I just can't. It's hard for me to move that way. It's hard for me to continue on acting like nothing did happen. Because for me, I can go on and on and on all day. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm someone that is or that likes to talk through things, right? But this question, right? So I'm going to fill in the blank. So if there wasn't any fear of rejection, so let's just say there's a girl and that there wasn't going to be any rejection or any confrontation, would you do it? And I think that question really brings out the truthfulness of what you would do in certain situations. Basically replacing the worst thing that could happen, or simply just replacing what you're fearing, right? Like getting embarrassed maybe, or right, there's a lot of reasons why, people don't do certain things. So for me, it's more like, okay, like, oh, I see this girl and I'll make an example right here. I saw a girl, beautiful girl, right? I'm just like, damn, like I don't really like to hit on girls at the gym because for me, it's a place to grind and to be in a certain mode. Like, so for me, I don't really like to even enter in a social space really because it's like I'm trying to work on my body. I'm trying to gather as much energy as I can, right? But this question, like since I've read this chapter, this question kept ringing in my head. Now, of course, I still am not a big fan of hitting on girls at the gym. That's not my thing because, you come in at the same time. You don't want to build a reputation that you're bothering people or anything like that. I mean, personally, I don't want to be known for that because that's not what I come to the gym for. So it's got to be really, I must really be like, it's itching me type of thing. Not just because, oh, she's just cute, so I'm going to say something. Like, I don't want to just be around town, you know what I'm saying? And next I'm the talk of the town, and, like, that's not what I'm here for, right? But anyway, but this question was ringing in my head. If she wouldn't reject you, if she wouldn't confront you, or she wouldn't embarrass you or anything like that, would you do it? So it exposes what you genuinely want. It exposes what you really want. Like, do you really want to talk to this person and just see if they're interested. Because the thing is that fear is not real. So if there's a way to help us remove that fear, right? And sometimes you just got to be brave. Sometimes you got to be courageous, and you just got to just go for it, right? Because obviously, if you're not used to it, it's not going to work, right? If you're not confident about yourself, if you're not on your game, as in just, with your life, like there's certain things you're not going to be so confident about, because it could just be a lack of confidence. I know for me, I'm confident about myself, right? I think it's dead as just a fear of like maybe being embarrassed. They might make a scene or, just something stupid where the worst thing that can happen is really just no. And I don't come, crazy or anything like that. So, so for me, it ain't nobody else's business. They working on they self. They listen to their music. So more than likely people go and glance and then they go look away. Like if you even just think about certain things you've seen just throughout your life that were weird, right? Let's just say you're at the mall or you're at a park and you just see some weird shit, or you just see someone bust their ass or something. You know what I'm saying? You might not even laugh really. You might just look and then go back to what you were doing. And so like thinking about that and thinking that that's how more than likely they might see you, that is such a interesting thing, or an interesting perspective to look into. People don't care. I think we all have like a main character syndrome, of course, where it's like, I think the feds are out to get me. Even though I'm not doing anything, I just feel like I'm being watched. Like I did something wrong, or maybe that's not normal. I don't know. But this question of like removing the fear, or just even saying like, yo, like if you knew this girl was going to say yes, would you do it? Right? Like you can really like ask those questions, and it makes you really like say why not. I wouldn't do it that way, because then, obviously you'll be disappointed. So I'm not saying, because I do think the best way is to remain neutral, right? And not expect anything. I think also having low expectations for everything can be a pretty great life. But it doesn't mean pessimistic though, right? But I'm not even that big of a fan of that, just because I'm definitely someone that wants to go into everything with optimism, but also be pragmatic. But I still want to be, have that energy for what I'm getting into, right? So yes, so if you have a fear and it has prevented you to do something, right? And so once again, like with the girl thing, right? Because there was an actual girl at the gym, and I asked myself, I said, if there wasn't going to be any rejection or any confrontation, would I actually approach this person? Would I actually just say something? And I would. And so I went in. Now she ended up saying she had a girlfriend, which that was different. But basically the bottom line is, yes, I did get rejected, right? This is like a reoccurring thing amongst men, at least. When you see a fine woman, like she's fine, you know what I'm saying? You're thinking about all these things in your head, like maybe getting embarrassed, maybe the boyfriend is gone or something, and next thing you know, he sees you approaching his girl, and maybe you might get in a fight. Like you think about all of these things. All of these things. And when you actually do it, the results that you got was none of the things that you imagined. It feels very fulfilling, because it's a chapter that's not, or it's closed. The chapter's closed, right? It's not like this thing that you're wondering about all the time, seeing her over and over and over and over again, right? Like you just ask. You just ask, and that chapter is now closed. Fear is simply not real. It's a belief. It's a thought of likeness. Of course, we still need it for certain things, right? Like, I don't need to actually experience being around a grizzly bear to know that that is a terrifying thing to be in. So there's certain things that you don't need to actually experience for you to know that this is actually a dangerous thing. That's my thoughts on it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, but please ask yourself, if there wasn't any fear of whatever top 3 fears you have, and it has been preventing you from doing something, would you actually do those things without the fear that you have? And really think about that. Don't let fear be the answer. So let me know in the comments. I appreciate y'all. I'll be streaming. Well, okay. I'm recording this on Sunday, but whatever. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I appreciate y'all as always. And I'll meet y'all down there. And I'll see you on the next one, man.